kill me.
I'm the Martial Arts Film Freak, and I watched Trouble Man.
And what kind of odd jobs do you do?
Not like I'm a hitman or anything. Just help people out of tight situations.
I need you to find Jahari. She has a new album ready to drop it. She just disappeared, but I need her back here.
She said she knew you were trouble.
Challenge accepted.
Trouble Man is a 2025 film written by Michael Stradford and directed by Michael Jai White. It stars Michael Jai White himself, his wife Jillian White, Method Man, Noah Flater, Mike Epps, and many other people. Orlando Jones, always good to see him. Important thing to note, the action, direction, and fight choreography of this film was crafted by the wonderful folks over at Art School Dropouts, Stephanie, Angela, and Joey. Glad I think to say that they are friends of the channel. I think so. So go check them out over on that YouTube channel, and let's see what they did with Trouble Man. Trouble Man, again, is a 2025 film about an ex-police officer played by Michael Jai White named Jackson. Jackson with an X in the middle, just so you know he's freaking cool. He is no longer a police officer. Now he is a private investigator slash fixer. You know, if you got a problem, you send him to go beat somebody up, or you have him investigate your issue, and he will solve it for you for a very, very hefty fee. When a very high-profile R&B star is kidnapped, the record label hires him to go find her, and Jackson quickly discovers a larger conspiracy of corruption in the system. Trouble Man is an interesting watch. It's funny, but I don't know if it's trying to be funny, at least not all of the time. The story itself sounds big and complicated while still being fairly simple. However, it's not very interesting, and maybe it's just that most of the characters involved aren't interesting at all. So whenever there's not action going down on screen, the movie kind of struggled to hold my attention. But the only thing that really did capture my attention outside of the action was how funny parts of the movie were, but they weren't intentionally hilarious. They were funny because they were bad. That comes down to bad performances. There were several deliveries of some really poorly written lines in this movie that had me fully bent over guffawing, a full laughter coming out of my mouth. Lines I thought were absolutely hilarious in poor writing and performance. I thought it was fantastically funny. It was very, very funny, but I don't know if this movie meant for that to happen. And I say all the time on this channel that when it comes to watching these low-budget martial arts films, I really don't care about performances. I've seen some epic movies that are some of my favorite martial arts films, some of my favorite action films of all time that are full of terrible performances, but I can put that stuff aside when the action is so good. The only problem is with this is like the bad is, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. And it's so bad it's funny. And I wouldn't be talking about it if it wasn't funny. I thought a vast majority of the dialogue in this movie was absolutely horrendous. That's like overall the whole movie, but also like very specific situational dialogue was terrible. There's a scene where Jackson, our hero, along with a few of his cohorts, are fired upon. Someone shoots at them, and somebody does get hit. So Michael Jai White, Jackson, chases after them to go fight somebody, and when he comes back, he asks, "What happened?" What do you mean, what happened? You were there, dude. You were in the mix. You were fired upon as what do you mean, what happened? It's so dumb. It's almost comical because like the person responds like frustrated. I'm like, yeah, you should be frustrated. Does this man have amnesia? You should be frustrated. He was there. The highlight of the movie outside of the action sequences, honestly, is Method Man. He is the most earnest. He is the most comedic. He has the best lines of the entire movie and the funniest situations, the best writing, pretty much. I don't even know if he has the best writing, but he is giving the best performance. That comes in his serious moments, that comes in him being funny, it comes in him being absolutely ridiculous while trying to be serious. But I fully believe in Method Man's performance in this movie. He is the most believable person in the entire film, and he's great, honestly. I loved his character. He's so funny. I would watch just a whole TV show about that guy. Orlando Jones is here. You may know him from, of course, Mad TV back in the 90s and early 2000s, and of course, Evolution. That's always a fun movie to talk about. And it's so clear that he is like phoning it in. He's giving this very over-the-top performance that is just not believable whatsoever. And it's funny because like we see him now these days playing like a small supporting character, recurring character on Abbott Elementary, and you see him in something like that, and you're like, this guy's a really solid actor. So seeing him in this, it's like you are really collecting a paycheck for this. Let's talk about some of the action elements of this film, and this is something that I'm actually very happy to talk about, not just because the Art School Dropouts were involved in it. That is not the only reason I'm going to say positive things. I'm going to say positive things about the action here because it is actually pretty solid, at least all of the martial arts. The gunplay is all just kind of there. I can't really say a whole lot about that. There's not much happening there that's of any interest at all. But when it comes to the actual fight scenes, what we actually came to this movie for, honestly, for me at least, it's great. This is some of the best Michael Jai White has looked in years. This is some of the best choreography that Michael Jai White has performed in years, at least since Triple Threat, and that was like 2018. So it's been 7 years since we've had solid fight choreography from this man. And of course, that all comes down to Joey and the Art School Dropouts. They did a wonderful job crafting the action in this movie. There was times that I was sad, thinking there was going to be just a big gunfight, and whenever there was an actual fight scene happening, it was great. I was scared, honestly, of your standard Michael Jai White fare, which is he is going to be the baddest man on the planet and completely untouchable, and what that leads to is fight scenes with zero drama, fight scenes with zero stakes. Michael Jai White is the scariest man on the planet. He's going to walk out of this without a single goddamn scratch, and that makes his movies extremely boring. And we get that through the first few fight scenes in this, but all that is really just to set up how much of a dangerous man he is. Then once we actually get the final fight scenes, especially against Noah Flater and the other guy whose name I honestly don't know, and I apologize for that, I'll look it up in a moment. Those fight scenes are the best thing in the entire movie, outside, of course, of Method Man. Theodore Park is that third person in the equation that is the final fight of this movie. We get Theodore Park and Noah Flater, whom I'm a very big fan of, fighting 2-on-1 against Michael Jai White. And it is the best fight scene of the movie, of course. It is the fight scene where we get a lot of the actual stakes. They are an actual threat. They actually get to land hits on Michael Jai White. I know, something that doesn't happen very often. So I'm very glad to see it. The only thing that detracts from this final fight scene is the blue screen. It is very evident that this final fight scene happens on a rooftop, and it is very evident that they are not on a rooftop. They're on a blue floor and a blue background. It's very obvious. It's very jarring. It's very incomplete. You see blue lines around them all the time. The background looks horrendous. The background looks awful. They do not look good against this blue screen. It's worse than anything you ever saw in Attack of the Clones. Of course, that is a billion-dollar movie. I know it didn't actually cost $1 billion. It is a full, massive budget film. But I think they could have afforded to get on some kind of rooftop. Maybe. Jesus, it looks bad. So it's really difficult to watch what is truly a very, very well-crafted, excellent fight scene with wonderful performers when behind them is the worst background you've ever seen, and they constantly have blue lines around their body, just like it looks how I look right now. I'm gonna try to edit some blue lines around me, and you'll see what I frickin' mean. It's bad. There are even other scenarios that happen on this rooftop that are just so jarring and so terrible. I'm not even talking about, I mean, honestly, it's on a similar level to something like Mortal Kombat Annihilation. It's very, very close. It also doesn't help that we have 3 characters decked out in wearing all black suits against the night sky background. Like that's a really poor choice. You really can't see much. When again, what's happening is actually quite good. It's very, very well crafted, well performed action. You just can't see a lot of it because of the bad back. I'm gonna keep talking about this. I've said a lot of words about this. It's bad. But there's good stuff there. But it's bad. Wrapping this up, I'm going to give Trouble Man, directed by Michael Jai White, 1.5 blue screens out of 5. This movie is fun. Truly, it is funny. It is hilarious when I don't believe it intends to be. And that comes from somebody who does not like so bad it's good or so bad it's funny movies. I truly don't care to watch those whatsoever. So this movie is actually quite enjoyable and still somehow kind of sad. There's some stuff to like here. The Dropouts did a wonderful job crafting the fight scenes of this movie. Truly, again, some of the best Michael Jai White martial arts action we have seen in close to 10 years. Some of the best stuff he's done in a long, long time. But everything else about this movie is difficult. Difficult and hilarious. Not on purpose. The dialogue is horrendous. The acting is terrible. Just the whole story in general is nothing that interesting. You have highlights in Method Man, but that's really about it. Sometimes I hear people say Tubi movies and discuss how bad Tubi movies are, and I kind of ignore a lot of the stuff they're talking about, and I'm like, no, Tubi has some good stuff. But I think the vibe I got from this might be what people mean when they say Tubi movie. I think I get it. But tell me what you thought of Trouble Man in the comment section down below. Have you seen it? Are you going to check it out? What did you think of Michael Jai White's Trouble Man? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Head over to Facebook, where there's the Martial Arts Film Freak Facebook page. Instagram, Martial Arts Film Freak. Tristan_Glover on Blue Sky, as well as Martial Arts Film Freak, of course, on TikTok. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.